to my channel. Today I am doing a fall makeup look in collaboration with Emily Demelo. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Emily. I'm sorry if I'm not. Emily is a fellow YouTuber here that I reached out to and wanted to collab with, and we just decided on something pretty simple, just to do a fall makeup look. I will link her video down below if you're interested in checking it out, and let's get right on into my tutorial. Instead of using a primer today, I'm going to use this Garnier Moisture Balm. It's like a intense moisturizer. Generally in the fall and then getting into winter, skin gets a little dry. I thought this would be good to use. The nice thing about this stuff too is that it does leave your skin a little bit tacky, which is nice. You want to have a little bit of a stickiness to the skin right before you apply foundation, because that will make the foundation last a lot longer. For foundation, nothing new here. I'm using my favorite combo, the Too Faced Born This Way foundation and the LA Girl Pro Coverage. My fake tan is wearing off a little bit, so instead of mixing both of the darkest colors I have in each of these, I'm doing one that's a little bit darker but one that's a little bit lighter, and that will be a perfect match. I always just take one pump of each on the back of my hand. This midi ring is not gonna want to be immersed in my foundation, so I'm going to take that off for now and then apply to the face, and I'll blend this out with my Real Technique sponge. For concealer, I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape. I use the shade Light Sand. It's super brightening. It's one of the newer shades. Well, it's not like really new anymore. This was not a shade in the original launch. They expanded the shade range a few months after they initially released the concealer, and this is the shade I've stuck with since then. The reason I put some around the mouth here is just because I tend to get like dark marks or like discoloration there. I'm not really sure, so I just like to bring some light back to that area. Same with right here under the nose, I get a little red. I take whatever is left on my Real Technique sponge and just run that over my eyelids and actually like the whole region here where I'm going to be doing eyeshadow. This acts as a base and kind of like a primer for eyeshadow. To set the concealer so that it doesn't crease and to further brighten, I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. I use the shade Fair, which is number 5, and I just pour some in the cap here and use my Real Techniques sponge and just place here. And I will leave this powder sitting here while we do eyeshadow. This will prevent any fallout. The shadows that I'm going to use today do have a little bit of fallout. So, and what I mean by that, I'm trying better to explain some of these words I'm using. Fallout is just when you're applying shadows, especially shadows that are heavily pigmented, a lot of the shades as you're kind of packing them on can fall down onto your face, and you don't want to mess up your foundation. Another way to do it is to do your eyeshadow before your foundation and concealer, and then you can just take a makeup wipe and wipe it away, but I always prefer to just let my foundation kind of sink in, and using this powder, kind of stacking it up, will allow you to wipe away all of that fallout without it actually sinking into the wet foundation. This is like a barrier. But before I do eyeshadow, I do need to do my eyebrows. As always, I'm using the L'Oreal Brow Stylist and the L'Oreal Brow Plumper. I'm gonna do this quickly off camera and then we'll jump right back on and do eyeshadow. Okay, I zoomed you guys in a little bit here. I know last time and a couple times I've forgotten to do that when I go into eyeshadow, so I zoomed you in so you can see a little bit better. I am using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Subculture palette. When this first was announced, a lot of people mentioned how beautiful this would be for a fall makeup look. It kind of looks like a fall palette. So I wanted to use it to create a more fall eyeshadow look. First, I'm going to take Dawn, which is kind of like a light beige shade. This will just set down the Tarte Shape Tape that we have and make sure that doesn't crease, and just create a nice powdery base for the rest of the eyeshadows. You might have come across the video I did comparing this to my Modern Renaissance palette. You do have to be a little bit careful with these shadows. There is a lot of kick up. What I mean by that is when you put your brush into the powder, it can kind of fall down a little bit. I'm not sure if that's picking up, but there's a lot of kind of dust or kick up that comes, which also means that that can happen on your face. And so you want to be careful. You don't want to just go right in, because then the eyeshadow might just kind of blow all over your face and ruin your foundation and the rest of your makeup. So you just have to keep that in mind. Another thing to keep in mind when playing with these shadows, I don't know if you can tell, this shade and a lot of these shades look a lot lighter in the pan than they actually show up. So if you actually look at that color I've put in my crease, it looks much, much darker than you might expect coming from this. And that's really what I've found from a lot of these shades, is that they come out a lot darker on your eye than you would expect in the crease. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to introduce this yellow shade called New Wave, and it's actually most likely going to show up more orangey than yellow, because like I said, these show up a lot darker than in the pan. And yep, that's really warming up the crease and creating a nice orange haze. That's really what I wanted for this look, is an orangey kind of browny haze in the crease, and then that gorgeous foiled gold shade on the lid. I think that'll be really nice and fall appropriate. I'm really curious to see what type of look Emily comes up with. We didn't do anything like really crazy for this collab. We just said, why don't we both do a fall makeup look and kind of give each other a shout out. I think Emily has a really kind of it girl look. She's super cute. She wears all the trendy like glasses, and I think you guys would really like her. So that's why I wanted to collab. I've been trying to do some more collabs with other YouTubers that are around my size. I think it's just a really good way to introduce you to more YouTubers that are very talented but just have a smaller audience. So I will continue to do that if you guys like it. I'm not going to do it all the time, but yeah, let me know if you're liking these collabs. I don't think I'm going to do them like every week. Like I know I just did one last week. I don't think I'm going to do that, but I will continue to do them from time to time if you guys are liking it. So I am obsessed with how the crease is looking. I think I'm going to go in with Edge, which is more of almost like a neon yellow, just on the perimeters here, and see what happens. I am definitely taking this pretty high up into the crease, almost to the brow bone, as you can see, but I really like that look. It's just really blown out, really, really smoky. And I'm gonna mimic all of these steps on the lower lash line, but you can see adding that like hint of yellow neon color is really cool. Kind of gives it more of that ombre effect. Next, I'm going to go into Adorn and just use my finger. How pretty is that? And I'm just going to pop that on the lid. It's really cool because the more you layer this, the more foiled and metallic it looks. Like it actually does build up really nicely on itself. Sometimes you just can't get the shadow to look the same on your lid as it does in the pan, but I think this one does a really good job of that. So pretty. And this look honestly is so easy, you guys. It's just a few shades in the crease and then popping this on the lid. Super good fall look for beginners, but it also looks like you've spent a lot of time and that it was more of a difficult look to pull together, but it's really not. Okay, so I'm going to swipe away this under eye setting powder so that we can do the lower lash line. I just take what's ever left from swiping that away on the brush to the rest of my face as well, just to prepare my face for the bronzer blush that we're going to go into later. It's always better to blend powder on powder than to try and take your powder bronzer onto your wet foundation. That can make it look kind of patchy. For the lower lash line, what I'm going to start with first is New Wave. See how orange that looks when you really compact it down? It's very orange looking. I want to connect this here to the top. See how I kind of just connected that? First, before I deepen that up and make it a little bit darker, I'm going to take edge here with the crease brush that I was using before on the top, right underneath, and then connecting up. A nice thing too is if you have really big like creases or under eye bags, doing a big blown out look like this really conceals that. I don't have that too bad, but a little bit, and this definitely conceals those kind of wrinkles. I love how this bright yellow looks right next to the orange. To deepen up right here, I'm going to take Fudge, which is the brown shade, and this I'm going to stick really, really tightly to the lash line, almost like an eyeliner. And I'm also not going to take it all the way. I'm just going to stick here to the outer edge. I'm going to take a clean blending brush and just go around the edges and make sure that that gradually just blends into the skin. For the brow bone highlight and inner corner highlight, I'm going to use the highlighter that I'm going to use later on my cheekbones, which is this one here from Becca. This is their Opal highlighter, and I'll just take a flat brush like this and go right here. I chose this one because it's kind of like a mix between a gold and taupe kind of shade, and I just thought it'd be a nice kind of cool contrast to the warm shades. I don't know. It's not rocket science. You can't really go wrong, but I tried to really think about it and plan it out. Now what I'm going to do is take this Wet n Wild Mega Liner. I'm not going to do a wing. All I'm going to do is just create a line from here to here so that when I apply the false lashes, there's a really nice kind of camouflage of the lash band, and it also thickens up the lashes a little bit, which I like. The black is a little bit harsh for this look, I think, so what I'm going to do is take the eyeliner brush I was using and dip into Fudge and just stamp that over top of the black, see, like this, to tone it down a little bit. Next, I'm going to apply mascara and falsies. I'm going to use the same Eileen lashes that I used in my last video. They look like this. I'm going to apply these and be right back. Okay, lashes are on. I'm going to use this NYX Bronze Retractable Eyeliner in the waterline. I think it will tie in with the eyeshadow look really nicely. It's a little metallic. I'm not sure it will pick up on camera, but really pretty, nice, kind of golden brown shade. All right, let's go right in with bronzer. I'm going to be using a matte bronzer today. I have been using the Too Faced Beach Bunny bronzer a lot this summer, but I also love the Benefit Hoola bronzer. You don't have to get it in this palette. You can buy it separately. This is the original Hoola, and then this is the Hoola Light shade. I like to mix the two. I think if I didn't have this full palette, I would use the Hoola Light, to be honest. Even though it looks super, super light, it comes out really, really dark, kind of like these Anastasia shadows. So I'm sort of contouring here, kind of bronzing. I'm being a little bit more precise than if I was just bronzing. I am sticking more to the hollows here, but nothing super, super sharp. I've gotten away from the really, really sharp contour. I don't know, I'm just like not as into it anymore. I just think it made my face look a little bit too done up. This just looks a little more fresh and natural in my opinion. Okay, I'm gonna lightly contour my nose, and for this I only use the Hoola Light. The regular Hoola is just too dark. See that? Do you see how dark that is? That's so dark. I'm still gonna have to blend it out with my fluffy brush so that it's not harsh. Cool, I'm gonna blend this out a little bit. For blush, I'm using this Tarte blush. This is their Party 12-hour Amazonian clay blush. It looks like this. It's kind of like a dusty rose shade, and I thought it would be nice for fall, kind of that dusty pink. I think it looks pretty. So before I do highlight, I want to spritz my face with the Milani Make It Dewy setting spray so that the highlight pops. I'm going to use this Becca Opal highlight again that I used for the inner corner. I'm going to just apply this to the cheekbones, nose, Cupid's bow, all of those places. And last step is lips. I'm going to first line them with my little stub here of the NYX Natural Lip Liner. The lip I'm choosing for this look doesn't match the lip liner. I just used that to basically outline my lips and make them a little more defined so I can see where to fill in. But I'm going to be using the Too Faced Melted Chocolate Liquefied Longwear Lipstick. So this is not a liquid lipstick. It doesn't dry matte. Well, it is a liquid lipstick, but not the liquid lipstick that you might think of, because most of the time liquid lipsticks dry matte, but this does not dry matte. The finish is just like a regular lipstick, but it comes like this. It's like a kind of felt applicator, and you squeeze and a little bit comes up. So I'm just gonna apply this to the lips and see how we like it. Kind of matches my sweater. So this is the finished fall makeup look. I hope you enjoyed watching. I am loving this kind of dark brownie lip, but it's not too dark, and then this golden yellowy smoky eye. I think it's great for fall. I'm definitely going to be playing around with a lot more fall looks, so you guys get ready. I'm also going to be filming a fall favorites video soon, so stay on the lookout for that. If you aren't already, please subscribe to my channel. That way you can stay up to date on all my upcoming videos, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!